guys, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. So this layout is using the gorgeous Cocoa Vanilla More Than Words collection. And I am using photographs taken from my little man's second birthday. Can you believe that he is already 2? I most certainly cannot. So I knew this layout was going to be a bit of a teary, rippy, crazy layout. And I started off putting a little tear up in that top corner and then realised I actually wanted to put a strip of washi tape up there. So I just paused for a minute and got out the washi tape. This is just plain white washi tape with some flecks of gold in it. So I just popped a strip along the top and a strip along the bottom. Just because, I don't know, I just wanted a bit of a border, I suppose, and I knew I didn't have any full sheets of paper left, so I couldn't put any strips of my paper. I was really down to my last scraps. And then I went back to tearing through the that little triangle gap there, and I also got my all my leftover bits of paper, and I also got my birthday cards. I wanted to include some of the cards that little man was given for his birthday. I wasn't sure how I was going to or what I was going to do, but I wanted to see if I could include some of the cards that little man was given for his birthday. So I start off by putting those 3 photos with foam onto the super gorgeous plain white paper that has got some lovely embossed flowers on it. And I know I want to do a little bit of a thing down in that bottom right hand corner as well. So basically mirroring what's happening in the main section down in that bottom section also. So you can see up to the left there the amount of paper I'm working with. Not a huge amount, I'm just going with the little bits that are left over. And so pulling out and tearing all those little bits and pieces and trying to create as many layers as I can. And again, just mirroring that down in the corner. So no big rocket science or anything, just having a bit of a fiddle and a bit of a play to see what I can come up with and to see what layers I can fit with what's left of that paper. I don't know if I've told you before, I'm sure I have. I get a kit every month from Kitaholics Kits, and I like to do this year's album. I'm trying something tiny bit different for me, not different as in unusual, just I hadn't done this before. I am doing 4 Project Life spreads and 4 layouts a month with my kit. So that's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 using the kit. So essentially a month. So the month of January, so the kit I get for January, I do those 4 weeks and use only that kit. And then the next 4 weeks, the month of February, I do the 4 layouts and I use only that kit. So if and when I do an album share, if you're interested, please let me know and I will do an album share for you. You should be able to see January, there's that kit. February, there's that kit. March, there's that kit. And April, there's my next kit. So hopefully that's not too boring or repetitive for you guys, because unfortunately that does mean for the month you will see all 4 layouts from me with the same kit. Obviously the layouts themselves will be different, but the supplies will be basically the same. So I hope that doesn't not upset you, that's a silly word, but bore you, that you've got too many too much repetitiveness happening, fingers crossed, because that's how my album's looking, so I hope that's okay. But yeah, anyway, back to what I'm doing here. Sorry, chatterboxing away about albums. I got the card. That card was made by Katie for little man's birthday. She made that herself, which is so cool. So I really wanted to include that one because the colors worked really well, but I really struggled even just to include that one. So I have no idea how I was going to include any more than that. So it's really just the one card that I end up keeping on the layout, and I ripped it all apart and tore it all up, so there's no handwriting or anything. Her beautiful message is gone, but that's okay. So I popped a little bit more of the card up behind that tear in the top corner that I stapled open using my tiny attacher, and then again down in that bottom right hand corner. And she cut out these super gorgeous big number 2s, so I'm keeping those on the layout too, because you know that's what's important about this layout. Little man turned 2. So I really like having that card there, but I know it needs a bit more. It looks like it's a bit stark at the moment, the way it's sort of standing out there. But I hadn't finished the layers anyway, but I knew it needed more softening, more layers to start happening. So I pulled out a doily because they're a great way to soften up something. So I end up using that and cutting a little bit off again to put down in that corner, because I want to try and mirror, I know I've said this 100 times, I want to try and mirror as much as I can what's happening down there in the main section down there in the bottom right section. So yeah, just still tearing, still ripping, still getting the layers happening. You should be able to see that there's a mixture of cut edges and torn edges, a little bit of both happening. Very soon I make a decision to, might even be now, let me see what I'm doing. Oh no, not this one. Very soon I make a decision to use a piece of paper and then put the double-sided tape on the wrong side. Whoops, my bad. I mean, you can pull it off or you could work it out. So I just end up using that layer somewhere else and then going again. Such a duffer. I don't even know how I managed to put the double-sided tape on the wrong side. It's just silly. But anyway, I don't know if those of you who got this collection love it as much as I do. I just love these colours. These beautiful pastel colours are just gorgeous. I found it super easy to use, and my other complaint that I often have about collections is there's too many words. I didn't have that problem so much with this one. There were quite a lot of images and pictures and things to layer up, which was great. There's still a lot of words, but I managed. I must admit, and I know I said this in the other video, that stealing some of Katie's certainly helped, because it gave me extra supply, because I only get the main kit and she gets the embellishment kit as well. Embellishment clearly means it's got a few more bits and bobs to pop onto your collection. And you can see there off in the left hand corner how she's got those stored just in a Tupperware container. That's not the only way she stores her kit. I think she's done a video on that, on how she opens up and stores her kit, but it was handy to have them in the Tupperware container because she brought them over to my house to share with me. And I just found digging through that was a little bit easier than keeping them in their packet. I'm eventually going to get myself one of those square iris containers that also have the tray in the top. They're really cool, so I can separate all of the sections of my kit out into that top tray and then put the 12 by 12 papers under. Those of you from Australia, you can get those at Officeworks. They're really cool. They're about $30 though, so you know, you've got to decide if it's something you'll use. If $30 is expensive for you, might not be. You might be like, $30, bargain, I'm getting one. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself here. I'm trying really hard to find which piece of paper I want to put along the top, and they're all either too small or too big, and I'm just, my first world problems. This is the paper. So I decided I was going to use that one, and I was going to put it along the top, and I wanted the colourful side out. So I stuck on the on the double-sided tape, and I go to put it up the top. Hang on, you've put the washi tape on the wrong side. Duh, now it's the grey side out. I don't want grey side up there. I want the colourful side up there. Oh, what a ninny. I know. I'll just pop the grey one down the sides of the page. That's fine. Cut it in half, put it on each side, done. So it really wasn't a drama, but I just laughing at myself that I was such a silly duffer to do that. I didn't even know what I was thinking. But anyway, we do these things. So the pages, this little section of the page is just getting crazier and crazier and crazier with all of the layers that are happening. I just love it. I can't seem to stop. I just keep tearing off more layers and adding more and more things. So I thought it was about time I started sticking some things permanently down, because it was just going to take me forever if I didn't. I really wanted to use that pennant flag that says together in yellow, because the candles on the birthday card were quite bright. They were really quite standing out. I didn't have much yellow happening on the spread, so I wanted to try and tie that in. And in the enamel dots, I had a lot of yellow enamel dots left that hadn't been used, so I decided I would also only use the yellow enamel dots. I just tie that yellow all together a little bit. So I've got the yellow candles, the yellow together down in that right hand corner with the number 2, and then the yellow enamel dots, and that made me a little bit happier about the color scheme. That's the same with that sort of tealy blue color. It is a much more complementary colour than the yellow was, but again, I didn't feel I had very much of that. So that's why the card has it, that tear up in the top has it, and then the number 2 and that little section down on the bottom right has it as well. So it's just really nice to put 3 little clusters or 3 little sections of something, an uneven number, rule of thirds, all of that stuff, just a little bit more complementary to the layout. I haven't done all of my embellishing yet, so I probably shouldn't talk to you about it yet, but it's the same with that. I do that in a 3 also. So I think I'm getting ready to finish up all my layers and actually start. Oh no, I'm still not happy with that top. I still never put a piece across the top, so just got to make a decision and get a piece up there, and then I can actually pop on a few embellishments. Now, really don't embellish this much. The papers are sort of speaking for this layout. There's a lot going on with all those colours and all those papers, and that gorgeous card, look who's turning 2, happy birthday. It really is one giant embellishment all to itself, so I don't need too much to finish this off. I just need a little bit happening. So I just finish up the big giant photo layers, and then it'll be time to stick all that down, that big section down, and think about popping on a few bits and bobs to finish it up. So the cake, in case anyone is interested, I made using a circle cake and a loaf tin cake. I only half filled the loaf pan because they are quite fat. And so the circle cake, I cut a circle out of the center just using a big glass, not even a scone cutter or anything, just a big gigantic glass. I just pushed that through, and then I cut that circle. I cut 1/4 out of the circle and flipped it to make the 2, and then the loaf tin. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was really easy. I was really impressed. I thought, oh God, how am I going to make a number 2? I rang around to different companies to hire a tin, and the only company I could find near me that had a tin, she basically talked me out of hiring it because she's like, it's huge. It'll need like 4 cake mixes minimum to fill it. And I literally was having a party with like 15 people. So yeah, that was a little bit big. This cake was big. I ended up eating it for like a week at school for school lunches. So definitely glad I didn't end up hiring that. And I was really happy with how it turned out. And I used licorice and chocolate for the train tracks. Just in case you're wondering. I know, totally off track from scrapbooking, but you know, just in case. So I'm up to the little embellishing clusters. I popped a little tiny cluster up in the top corner, that beautiful little flower wreath, and then the "You Are Loved" words. And then popping a little flag that says "Remember This" down across the photos. I needed to pop that up on some foam because the photos are up on foam as well, so got to even that out. There it is, pop. And then I had a play with some word, they're not tiny word phrases, they're just tiny words that you could then put together yourself in any order to make your own phrase. So I wrote totally the best. And I wanted to sort of slide those in and under the tear. I didn't want them on top, I wanted those under, so that was really cute. Because he is totally the best. And they're sort of my 3 clusters that I put around the photos, because I know it's really nothing, but there was just so much going on. And then you could see there the enamel dots. I just only had yellow ones left, so popped those on. They really suited, as I said earlier, to tie in the yellow candles, so I was happy with that. And then a bit of gold Heidi shine, and we are bing bang done. So I just tried to keep the Heidi shine in the top right, bottom left, and the bottom right. So again, 3 little clusters. I'm just 3 for everything today. And I'm done. And I was really happy with it. It was quite tricky. You know, when you have an idea in your brain and you're just trying to get it to come together. It came together, but it did take me a while. Hence why this video is reasonably long. Sorry about that. You'd think something like this should be super easy, but I don't know, I guess it was a little bit different for me, so it was a little bit trickier. But it looks great. I'm really happy with it. So, and Katie was really chuffed that I included her card and was able to get her card on. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you like it. I hope this was a nice idea for you. If you have a really special item that you want to try and include into a layout, maybe you can. I did tear the card. I didn't keep it a perfect replica. So that's also an option too, that the card is there but you've modified it a little bit. Something like that. Anyway, I hope this helped. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.